Hello nerds. I did 6 internships over the course of my 4-year university and I learned a lot. So now I wanted to share my tips for how to have a successful software engineering internship. And because I watch too much anime, I was recently watching an episode of Blue Lock and this one quote felt really applicable to being an intern. An awakening can only happen in extreme situations. When faced with a formidable foe, the weak crank up their skills to 10 to create a new formula to win. As an intern, you're the weakest or most inexperienced on the team. And the formidable foe might be many things in your internship, like maybe you have a really difficult project or you're learning a new tech stack for the first time. But the best part of doing a software engineering internship in my eyes is the awakening that you get compared to doing online tutorials or taking classes in school. So here are 7 things to crank up your skills to 10 and create that formula to being an amazing software engineering intern and secure that return offer. Build trust immediately. When you first join a new team, you're given a time called onboarding, which is generally a few weeks to a few months where your main purpose is to learn about the company, the people on your team, the projects, and any code bases you might be working in. Something I realized when I started doing internships was that people don't know anything about me and they don't know if I can handle taking on bigger projects. When you first start out at a company, you can say that your trust battery is at 50%, and you need to put in work to increase that. So I needed to build my reputation as a trustworthy person and as a trustworthy programmer. So I tried to attend meetings on time and participate and be a respectful teammate, but I also showed that through working on smaller tasks at first and building my way up to more difficult ones to show that I can handle it. I would also try taking initiative and picking tickets from the backlog that people on your team might not have time to work on, but that they want to get done. Another really important tip is that you should right away schedule one-on-ones with everyone on your team and also people you might work closely with on other teams. That way you can learn who they are, their story, what they do, what projects they're working on. You can ask them about their biggest challenges, and they might also be able to provide you with some really good resources that will help you with your onboarding. And another thing you can ask them is who they think you should meet with next. Absorb information like a sponge. Another important thing is to think of any internship as a learning experience. That means you should have a growth mindset for your entire internship. You're gonna fail at a lot of things the first time you do them at least. It's good to fail and fail fast so that you can learn from your mistakes, get feedback from your teammates, and then take that advice and do it right and probably faster the next time around. Another thing I just like to think of in life is that you can learn something from anyone. If you have other interns who are on different teams or in different disciplines like design or data science, or other teammates or people you just think are cool at the company, you should just try to meet with them and learn as much as possible and absorb something new from them. They all have their own experiences and specialties that you can learn from. So make sure you ask them about it. Set goals for what you want to accomplish. Most internship programs will make you set goals for yourself. Some of the most common ones are learning a new technology like React or Golang. But what I would say is most important to focus on in this internship, excuse me for using an anime term again, is to surpass your limits. As an intern, coding is your number 1 priority. There's an inverse relationship between the level that an engineer is at and how much code they write. So a senior engineer on your team might be more focused on writing architecture documents and barely coding, but you're going to be the opposite. You don't need to focus on architecture that much, but you need to focus on, pumping out code and getting better at that, because this is the primary way that you're going to be judged on your competence. So to tie that together, I think you should try to find goals that you won't just be able to check off easily if you just finish your internship. Set goals and sign up for things that will make you surpass your limits. Don't be afraid with asking your teammates or your manager with help setting these goals, because they probably have more insights into what they think you should be learning and how you can grow best because they've gone through it themselves too. Change your approach to asking questions. A skill that you have to pick up doing either a remote or in-person internship is asking questions in an online setting. And by that, I mean sending someone a Slack message without trying to annoy them too much. The most important thing I want you to understand from this part is how to ask a question. Make sure your questions are detailed and show that you've already done some digging. Document what you're trying to achieve, the things you've already tried, and what the current behavior is. As an intern, you want to struggle a little bit and try to learn from that because you learn the most from surpassing your limits, right? But you don't want to be spending hours upon hours or even days on a simple problem, because being stuck on a problem for that long leads to diminishing returns. And in most cases, the act of just writing out your question will help you think of new things to try, and you probably don't even have to send it to anyone. And don't be ashamed of asking people for help, because usually when I ask for a question and I get the response, I think to myself, wow, I would have never thought of that in a million years. And that's what makes me feel better about asking questions. A lot of knowledge can be found on Google or internal wikis, but it's pretty common knowledge that engineers are terrible at documenting things, so some things just live in people's heads and you have to prod them about it. Even though it should be one of your goals to try to become more autonomous, you're still new and still learning, and your teammates are there to help you. Having an intern on a team naturally slows things down, but it's basically like an extended recruiting process where they see if they want to bring you back full time. And it also helps them realize the common trip ups when someone new joins their codebase. So don't be afraid of taking up space. If it's an urgent question, DM your mentor or a teammate, but don't be afraid to ask in public channels too. Asking your question in a public channel might benefit other people too. Get used to pivoting. Another thing you might not expect to happen is that you're doing something one way and then you realize that you're doing it wrong and you have to scrap that entire approach and start again, aka pivoting. In my internships, that has happened multiple times and I've had to get used to not getting hurt by it. In one case, I had written a bunch of code in a service that ended up not being feasible unless another team put in time to fix it up. But the easiest solution was for me to just write that same code in another service, so that's what I did. It was hard to accept that A, the code that I worked really hard on wasn't going to get used, and B, that I would have to start from scratch again. But I also learned that sometimes things like that just happen. What really matters in these situations is your attitude and how you can bounce back from it. You can also learn so many things and gain new insights from these types of experiences. Ask for frequent feedback. As an intern, you're only there for a few months, so you should be asking for feedback at least every 2 to 3 weeks. Have conversations with your mentor and manager in one-on-one meetings and ask them how you're doing compared to their expectations of where you should be at in your internship. Be impactful. The last thing I wanted to talk about was how you can leave an impact as an intern. Whether it's being the clown of the team like I always am, or writing really good customer impactful code, as an intern, you are like the ray of sunlight in an otherwise team of jaded software engineers. You have fresh eyes, so that means that you can give feedback on what you think works and doesn't work. Like maybe some meetings aren't important and could be done asynchronously, or maybe you have ideas from other jobs you've had. You can even look for opportunities to improve the code and take initiative on doing that. Ultimately, getting to do an internship is an amazing experience because you're probably getting paid and you're getting paid to learn. And if you've watched this entire video, I'm pretty sure you're excited to be an intern and you're going to try your best to succeed. I hope all of these tips help you in your future internships. And if you like this video, remember to like the video and subscribe for more. And if you have any other advice, please leave it in the comments. I'll see you next time. Bye.